We have reached an age of creativity in storytelling where up is down, left is right, red is green, the sun is the moon, and right is wrong, and vice versa. We have reached an age where deconstructing classic characters or the stories that we have all grown up with into negative lights to make room for characters with not nearly as much depth is not only accepted but encouraged and applauded. We have reached an age where creativity itself is as low as it has ever been, where no new ideas are circulating and entertainment has become an endless stream of recycled 80s action flicks and fantasy live-action films in order to try to latch onto the worlds and IPs made by far superior innovators and drain them dry. Everything is being remade or redesigned, and it is becoming increasingly apparent that those in charge do not know what they are doing, and worse, do not care at all. 2023 was a creative slog of strong female characters, egregiously awful CGI, and directors who didn't understand their source material, and worst of all, didn't care. And the latest director to follow in the illustrious footsteps of Nia DaCosta and Jada Pinkett Smith is Leslye Headland, a woman whose working life holds as much controversy as her connections and apparent love of Star Wars. The release of the Acolyte trailer about a week ago signaled a whole lot of speculation and videos about the show, and for many, just how bad it's going to be. The knowledge that Leslye Headland would be spearheading the project sparked a lot of controversy, particularly because she comes across as being rather disingenuous when it comes to this massive IP that she has been hired to fill a role in. And after doing some digging, I decided that she was a figure worth discussing because of just how curious she is. Her personal connections to Harvey Weinstein aside, Leslye has only been a part of 4 projects up until this point, 3 of which were released close to a decade ago. Most of them were indie projects that weren't really of note, from her comedies Sleeping with Other People and About Last Night to her Groundhog Day-inspired project Russian Doll, as well as her producer credit on The Bachelorette. All of them are wildly different from anything related to Star Wars. They are all contemporary projects that feature a distinct interest in interpersonal relationships and the connections between human beings. Nothing wrong with that, but it's an odd jump to be immersed in films and shows like that to spearheading a story in one of the most popular IPs to ever exist. I have my own suspicions as to why this is, but all of this tells me one thing. Leslye Headland is simply unqualified to be directing a Star Wars project. There are a few reasons for this, but I'll start with the first and probably the most obvious. Leslye is not definitive. When someone likes something, is truly a fan of something, whether it is a book or an entertainment medium, cooking, gardening, scholarly pursuits, whatever the case may be, they tend to be rather knowledgeable about the subject. They often spend a great deal of time discovering everything they can about that thing they enjoy in order to best understand it and succeed at it if it is an occupation. It isn't a job or a chore to them because it makes them happy and they derive joy from being in it or doing it. But Leslie's connection to Star Wars seems to be decidedly nil.
I am the type of Star Wars fan that doesn't even have a favorite movie. I just want to live in the universe of Star Wars continually, in perpetuity, forever. So when people are like, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? I'm like, there is no Star Wars movie. There is only Star Wars.
The world of Star Wars is a huge place, and there are many different time periods and characters to draw from. George Lucas created an entire galaxy's worth of ideas about the cultures living in it, species that inhabit it, and the planets that orbit in it. It's a rich, densely populated, fleshed-out world that many people take very seriously because its creator took it seriously. Despite whatever disdain may be held for people's vehemence in loving it, we cannot deny that there are people who have invested a great deal of their time, and in some cases their careers, into knowing about and loving Star Wars. If the creator of the world and its director set a high standard for the stories that he wanted to tell, logic would dictate that anyone else, even the most basic Star Wars fan, would be able to answer more details about the world than we currently have gotten out of the Acolyte's director. But I find the next part of this interview more interesting than the basic answer that Leslye loves all of the movies. Any director or writer or producer can use as a springboard to spread their own messages. They know that the IPs come with a built-in fan base, so there is a guarantee of income no matter what they do, and they know that no one is going to stop them because they check all the necessary boxes that it seems are essential to storytelling these days. So when Leslye says there are no Star Wars movies, there is only Star Wars, what she really seems to be saying is that this is a world that I can insert my own messaging into because it's all about the name, and not about the story and the characters. Additionally, she also seems to be vastly underqualified. With only 4 projects under her belt, projects that are as different from Star Wars as a tuna fish is from a beaver, Leslie's ability to tell a good Star Wars story doesn't really have my confidence. And she herself has admitted that she is a fan of the fake-it-till-you-make-it movie-making process, which is not typically a good thing if your intention is to get fans excited about the project you are spearheading. Admitting that you have no idea what you are doing and somehow being proud of that fact doesn't fill me with a sense of confidence about this woman's abilities. But maybe that's because this certainly isn't the first time that we have seen this. Directors of low-budget or indie films are suddenly being promoted to complete massive projects that are frankly above their skill set, and it shows when the final product is released in theaters.
Like, you just have to have the confidence to walk in there and pretend like you know how to do it. I'm telling you guys, like, the truth. Like, that's how I made my first film, was that I was like, I know what's going on. I didn't at all, and I think it shows in the movie.
Nia DaCosta, the Marvel's director, has admitted that she has no idea what was going on set sometimes. She left before the project was even finished, and her lack of experience combined with a bunch of other things all contributed to the movie's flop at the box office. But perhaps the most damning thing about Leslie's inability to spearhead a Star Wars project is the fact that she is unapologetic about her wish to blur the lines between good and evil, a marker that has always been decidedly drawn by George Lucas.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
Darth Vader himself is a villain, and while people love him, no one has ever said that because of his tragic backstory he is just a misunderstood character and not really evil at all. No one has ever said that. And in this show, it is quite obvious that the Acolyte is going to be something of a message to the audience about not being truly evil, instead just being a misunderstood character. I don't know about all of you, but I am very tired of hearing about characters who have committed unspeakably evil acts being excused or released due to the grief of trauma that they have suffered. Evil acts must be held to account no matter who has done them or for whatever reason. And I'm not sure that Leslye Headland understands that, given the controversy of her own past and the message that she wishes to impart now, removing good and evil from Star Wars and simply leaving the watchers with an imperfect idea of power. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is one of the projects that will surprise me. Maybe all of this is moot, and Leslye and Kathleen Kennedy will pull off the surprise of the century and create a fantastic show that we are all happy to watch, again and again and again.
You serious?
But I'll let you be the judge. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. What do you think of Leslye Headland and the Acolyte? Be sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments section, and let the conversations begin. Until next time, everyone.